broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome everybody to Dancing with the Stars, AFTERBUZZ TV. I'm Suri Serano. It's week 5. Wow. I can't believe it. And as you can see, there is no Kristen Burt next to me. She's out this week, but will be back next week as far as I know. Jake Dupree is also out. That happened last minute. He's stuck at an audition. Wish you luck.
Good luck.
But in studio, very special guest, and we have missed you, and everybody's very excited to have you, Anna Trebunskaya.
Thank you very much. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's like old hat, you know, having you here.
It's exciting because it's new studios too, so I'm getting used to the layout and where the bathrooms are and stuff like that.
And Darvina.
Hey guys, how we all doing? Week 5, can't wait.
Were you in studio again?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was the switch up week, and what a night. Lots to get through. How was it in studio overall?
I thought it was gonna be this big explosion of a switch up week, and I was really excited for it. And just in my opinion, there were some standout routines, but I don't necessarily think it was the best switch up week we've seen. I don't know. That was just my opinion.
Really?
But there was some great numbers. Like,
right.
I don't know. That was just more, I think, in terms of the pairings, and I don't know. We'll get into it.
Right.
We'll get into why.
We're gonna
and
get
it all
why.
makes sense.
Well, and you were on Dancing with the Stars All Access. I watched you. You did an amazing job.
Thank you very much. Learning from the best.
Well, stop. I don't know about that. But you killed it. And so from your perspective, being there overall, how was the switch up night for you?
Well, I really loved certain routines, like you said. I think the switch up actually worked pretty well. There were a few couples, but like, here's the thing. There is an original pairing, and then there's Twitter pairing where people at home vote for their couple to be switched up. And they all wanted to see Bindi and Val. Okay. They wanted to see Nick and Whitney. Did it really work? I don't know. I'm not sure.
We'll get to that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what happens when you give power to the people who aren't professional casting.
Yeah.
And it's like the fans casting.
Right.
Well.
And what you think might work in actual fact might not.
That's why people in Hollywood make a lot of money being casting directors.
Dina's fantastic at her job.
Dina is really good, but no, think about it. Every single show is all about casting. Is who you paired up with who can star along the side of Bradley Cooper, and sometimes even they don't get it right and they're professionals. So it's always, to me, this week is an experiment.
It is.
A social experiment.
A social experiment. Speaking of pairing up, before we get into all the dances, we do have to talk about you and the wonderful job you did with Gary. And I know we were talking about, he is so much fun. And so tell everybody about, I know you've been asked about this before, but what really was your experience like and your takeaways from working with him?
Well, the main thing that I realized really early on is that Gary is eccentric and he has no filter, and he's very creative and he's very exciting, and he just speaks from his heart. And once I was cool with that, once I accepted Gary for who he is, and we created a rapport, we created a friendship, and I got to meet his wife and his kids, and all 3 of his kids, and that are all different ages. And he's definitely an interesting personality for sure. It was never a boring moment. In fact, if I ever have another partner, I think I'll be bored to death, because after Gary, everybody else are a little boring.
I can imagine.
Yes.
A lot of fun.
Must have had a lot of patience.
It was more, patience, schmatience. It's like you do what you have to do. And in order for me to work with this particular person, I had to listen and I had to be open-minded. and I had to be creative in thinking what's the best for him, and not just choreography wise, but also what is the best way for Gary to learn X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Because of his traumatic brain injury, and he has hearing aids. I don't know if people realize that.
Oh, wow.
He's like,
I didn't know that.
he hears only 40% of what normal hearing is.
Oh, wow.
So all of these little things, and him being 71, and him having bad knees and this and that, you just have to be creative and go, okay, I can teach that to a football player. I cannot teach that to Gary, or even I could teach the same thing to Gary as a football player. We've actually discovered that because he played so much football in his high school and his college, there are certain drills that he knew and he still remembered. His long-term memory is really good, and we were able to put them on. Like a lot of the grapevines that he did, that's a football drill. The shuffles, like this, like side to the side, that's also a football drill. There are a lot of things that we were able to pull together from his experiences, not just as an actor but also as an athlete.
That's awesome.
And kind of combining all together, explaining the character, giving him the backstory of what the dance is about, what our relationship is like in the dance, and then you know, on the physical thing, kind of going back into his football a little bit, and all of that together, just pulling from all the resources, and you saw what you saw.
Favorite number that you did with him?
For me, selfishly, my favorite number was probably Addams Family.
I love that one.
I love being Morticia. For
You
Gary,
look great.
yes,
she was
thank you.
living.
Excited, great. Hair, makeup, wardrobe did such a fantastic job. I had kind of had my Halloween early.
Yeah.
First week you had that catsuit. I was like, yes.
But from something that's never been done before, because Addams Family actually been done on Dancing with the Stars twice. Womp Womp by Cheryl and Rob Kardashian, and by Edita Slavinsky and Joey Lawrence.
I don't remember that.
I know. I was like, wait, I think I saw those two routines. Wait, so YouTubed it. Sure enough, but we had a totally different take. But for something that's never been done before, which is Overture 1812 by Tchaikovsky, and we danced Pasa Doble to an overture, which is not a dance piece, but we made it a Pasa Doble. We made it a dance piece, and the outfits and the creative and everything was so phenomenal.
Beautiful.
It was
Spot
like
on.
a fairy tale. I felt like, you know, little Anastasia princess, and
I could see it.
with Gary.
It was amazing.
I was living it. I was totally
It was
living
great.
it.
I loved it. It was such a great partnership.
Really
Thank
was.
you.
I don't think anyone else would have been able to take him as far along and for him to enjoy the journey as much as he did other than you.
Well,
So,
thank you. I'll take that.
A lot of people have said that.
100%.
Good to know.
Absolutely.
Good to know. You guys seeing it. You're seeing it.
Well, let's dive in to the
do it.
night.
Ooh, yes.
First up, the first switch up pairings was Tamar with Louis doing the samba. I'm gonna start with you guys. So
Okay, well, I was firstly excited. I was excited for Louis. When I saw this, I was like, he's going to get to go for it. And Tamar is already such a great dancer. This is going to be great. Something went wrong. Like, I don't know if it was just the amount of moves. There was so much choreography. It wasn't easy. It was like a lot going on. And the routines were longer. So I think
Yes.
the routines were like a minute and a half as opposed to
Minute
before.
15, minute 10.
And I think with a dance like that, the samba, which was so fast paced, that she kind of peaked too soon, and then things started getting sloppy towards the end, you know. But I loved the idea, but it just didn't come together for me.
I like the idea too, and the song.
Yeah.
I will say that. Anna, what did you think?
I agree. I think she was in her head. She was thinking too much about, I don't know what she was thinking about, honestly, because here was just
weird.
not connected, was no intention.
I've been saying that every week, and everybody's been yelling at me. I told you that before the show.
Right. That's the one thing about Gary, as much as people said, oh, he didn't do very many steps. It doesn't matter, honestly. For me, as a dancer, as a teacher, you can do 5 steps or you can do 50 steps. But I rather you do 5 steps with full commitment,
Exactly.
full intention. So I know what you're trying to do, what are you trying to deliver, what you're not trying, what you're doing. And I feel with Tamar, she often has moments when she's trying to do something, but she's not actually doing it. She's kind of like, I'm trying to do it.
I know what you mean,
I'm
yeah.
like, no, you just have to do it.
Yeah, you just have to actually go for it.
And she's lovely, and her family is lovely, and I think she's a wonderful human being. And she just gets in her head. It's a thing.
That is well said, because I like her and the partnership and all of that stuff. But for me, again, I just her face, like I feel like she's just like deer in headlights, or not there, or trying too hard, or thinking too much.
Yeah,
it's one of those kind of looks.
It's not to the degree, yes, but it's not to a degree like Kim had it.
No.
Kim is
that was
very obvious.
No, that was scary.
Tamar is much better, but she's also a performer,
right? But
she can just get really in her head.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, they got a 7787 for 29. Yeah. I was in there with that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We kind of agree.
Yeah.
And we have to introduce, of course, Max was a special guest judge. What did we think of Max? I know you weren't able to really hear his comments because you were on camera.
Yeah, I was on camera upstairs, and unfortunately we can't take our time and listen to the judges' comments, or listen to the comments in like the red room or the skybox. We just have to kind of go through it, and guests come in and out, and I'm
crazy.
Constantly
it's fun.
Jumping thing it's a lot of fun, but so I don't know what the heck judges said, but just based off his judging marks, I agreed with him on everything. And whenever I would do a commentary, and the judges starting to talk, and then they would bring up a whiteboard, and it would say Max said this and this and that, and I literally just said that. So I feel like Max and I, maybe because we are professional dancers that were just competing very fresh of what we did, or whatever, maybe we both the similar background, I don't know, we were really much in agreement. We go in parallel next to each other. So I think he did wonderful for what it was worth, because he gave his honest opinion. It was a professional opinion, and he didn't play favoritisms or anything like that.
I think he was great. I thought he was a great judge.
I think he was good.
Darvina?
I didn't think so.
Didn't think so. Why?
I didn't think it was very constructive. I felt like a lot of the stuff that was being said, it was like, okay, and what do you expect them to do with that? I think as a guest judge, it's not like you're there weekly where, you are able to give constant critique or whatever. So I think it's important to kind of encourage. And I know that he definitely did, and his marks were great. Like, he definitely pulled out some 10s here and there. But there were some comments where I was like, is that really helpful?
So you were saying that he was
a little too harsh?
He was negative.
Style?
He was on the negative side.
I thought a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, see, I couldn't even hear that. So I don't know.
I thought it was a little bit.
Okay.
But
it's good we disagree.
I think that's his mentality and his personality is a little harsh, but I think sometimes people need to understand, it's a 71-year-old person up there. Do you know what I mean? And it's like it's easy to just kind of be in that professional mindset, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think he gave some positive for Max. For me, because I've never seen him judge before, I took it on the positive end of scale of Max's personality. Does that make sense?
I wonder if that's because you know him personally.
No, I don't, because I don't know him that well. I just think,
or maybe because you've seen him on the show before.
I liked things he had to say. He was real. It would be like watching you judge. For me, it was like you're gonna give it direct.
Very true.
And it's like you did on All Access. You were very direct about like some things that can cut.
Yes, but I think what Darvina is saying is that you could say things that can cut, but then you got to give solution.
Yeah,
so that you don't just cut them open, let them bleed. Like, okay, you cut them open, see what the problem is, take out the piece of a broken bone, and then put it back together, and like at least give them some, Neosporin or something.
I felt like you did, but hey, that's why we all have different Neosporin or something. Oh my God, we missed you.
Maybe sailing.
We missed you.
I miss you.
Sailing water or something.
Okay, well, let's move on. All right. Allison was paired up with Hayes for a Viennese waltz. I will say this. I thought overall it was really pretty, and it was good, and it was nice to see him in that light. And the only thing for me that I noticed that was obvious was, you know, not fully extending his arms, like reach in certain places. But I am not you.
Yeah.
I'm not the
okay.
the technician in this. That's why we have you. But overall, I really liked it.
What do you think, Darvina?
I thought it was a little clumsy. Like, it looked a little... It just didn't have the finesse that I was expecting and progression for him, because he has that ability.
Okay.
I don't know if it was the choreography that maybe it was a bit like made his movements less finished and extended, or I don't know, it was just a new style. But he's great. I love his energy. I think he's extremely adorable, the way he still was able to be that man, you know, which I thought was so admirable for a 15-year-old. So, I mean, it wasn't my favorite dance of his, but still a success, I would say.
Yeah. I've noticed how fast the music was.
Okay.
And I talked about it with Alison. I'm like, your Viennese waltz is like the fastest Viennese waltz that I've ever seen done on the show. She's like, yes. Oh, absolutely. So the movement to me looked hectic, because they were on time with the music, but it's like it almost like didn't have enough time to breathe and slow down, because the music was so fast and it was like go 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 go, and also it's a minute and a half and it's so long, and that's why she said that's why we didn't really do like a proper Viennese waltz till like the second half of the dance, just because it's so fast and there's so many things to learn. And it's like when you have a fast dance, you got to learn double the amount of choreography than when you have a rumba or something, where it's like you maybe will do 20 steps. And then the Viennese waltz, that's this tempo or quick step, you learn 50 steps. It's because you got to keep up with the tempo. So in my opinion, it looked hectic, but I blame the speed of the music. Could there be another solution? I don't know. I mean, I get what she was doing. I totally understand Alison and understand her point of view. I actually was really impressed with his posture and his upper line. And even though maybe it looked like he didn't finish his hands or something, I actually did enjoy his arm movements. There weren't a lot of them, but the ones that he did, and he was there and supporting and regal, I thought he did really well with what he was given.
That's the impression I was left with. Like overall, it was, you know, I thought it was really good. They got in a 30. I guess 2 8s and 2 7s.
Okay,
Do you think it was fair?
I hear you.
Maybe 8s.
I think that was right on.
I think it was right.
Okay. Next up, Paula was paired with Mark for a jive. And I saw you posting the little pre-show milk thing, riding the bike. Man,
that's funny.
I love me some Mark Ballas. I just got to say that first of all. You know, there's a lot to say about this. I think it's her best dance, best I've seen her, most relaxed I've seen her, which made me relax. So I felt really comfortable just watching and you know what I mean, and being entertained.
For sure.
And I was talking to you about this before the show. Is that a culmination of all the weeks of hard work and getting better? Is it Mark coming in too? Is it kind of just everything combined? But I was really happy with this.
Yeah, I was. When I found out, I was so excited. I thought it was going to be awesome, and it was. You know. The relationship was good, you know, and Paula was so open to him, and you could tell that, and she trusted him, and you know, I loved the fact that he kind of put her in flats and let her go for it, and it was more fun. I think that all the technique that Louis had kind of been teaching her had really helped her up to that point, and I think Mark kind of went more with the fun element. But she got through the dance start to finish with no mistakes.
That's
and
amazing.
She gets really nervous because at camera block, she was not getting through it.
She blanked out.
There was like 3 or 4 passes where it was just like not happening. And then Mark cleared the sides because I think she was getting nervous. And then she got through
Meaning
it.
Cleared the sides so people understand.
People weren't like on this, you know, like on the side bits where people sit, like just so that there wasn't anyone there. Just to kind of give her time to focus. Do you know what I mean?
She gets distracted.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think, you know, she just came out there and went for it. and finally did. Like, she was so happy, and she was like, "I didn't get one step wrong."
Yes, she did.
That's a good
Like, I went the whole way through.
She was great. I really enjoy Paula. I think she's hilarious. She's, she was kind of in the same boat with Gary, so I can definitely relate to what her partners, Louis usually, but Mark this week, might be going through. And I agree with you that all the technique that Louis drilled into her for the last 6 weeks because of the training too finally paid off with Mark, and Mark allowed her an opportunity to just relax and let it go and just let it happen naturally, and it did. I was really a fan of the routine. The whole creative was phenomenal.
Right?
It was so right for her. The thing that people probably don't know is that she always has like 4 or 5 people with her. She always has some sort of grandchildren.
Really?
She always has some sort of family. So there are like a lot of people around her. And what that can do, I mean, it's wonderful to feel the support of your loved ones, but it's also when you have all these people that are your loved ones and your family, as many of you might know, you get pulled away into in 5 different directions. And when you have to do, and I think that's what Mark did, he's like, okay, this is about you, and this is about me, and this is about our time. Let's do our job. Instead of being a grandma or a mama or a husband. Like, her husband's always there. Her publicist is always there. Her, I don't know if she's assistant or a friend or something. That's 3. And there's always some kind of, like 5 people around her all the time.
Yeah.
And that's great, but it's also, I find it's distracting to me. I'm not even Paula.
Right.
I mean,
Because
and
you
they're
have-
like in a hair room or a makeup room, there's always somebody around her.
Hustle and bustle.
Too much.
Yeah, because you're worried about making sure they're okay, or they want your attention for something else.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
But it is what it is. That's her life. She's the matriarch of the family, and that's her life. Right. But for dancing, you need a moment to yourself. You need to put everything on the shelf and come back to it after you're done dancing, and then just do your thing. Do your dance, concentrate on your partner, listen to what your teacher's telling you, and just do it. And that's what she did yesterday, and it paid off, and it was beautiful and fun and effortless and just great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
I was
really
so happy
enjoyed
for
it.
her. So happy. She got a 26, 2 7s and 2 6s.
I mean, the 6s, I think they could have been all 7s, honestly.
I think so.
Based on some of the other scores, I think that could have been all 7s.
I definitely did think that, because she gave us performance and she got us through the whole routine.
She got us through the
like,
whole
for
thing.
the fact that she did that, I think that was a 7. And the concept too, it all came together. But
I really want to touch on this really quick, not to backtrack too far, but the package with Mark and Alexa.
Oh, Alexa.
Really quick. Well, I guess we can talk about it when we get to Alexa.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah.
we do that? We'll wait on that. I just want to go there. But I agree with you guys. I think it could have been all 7s.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
that was a great number. Well done, Paula.
Well
and
done,
Mark.
Mark.
done.
Yeah. Next up, Alec and Emma doing a Roomba.
Oh,
Roomba.
geez.
Roomba.
Ooh.
Roomba.
Wow.
I love Anna. We miss you. We miss those facial reactions. We miss the size. Oh, amazing. Okay. Yeah. I've been a fan of him all season. I think he's one of the better people on the show. Last week, we were left with, wanting more facial expression, emotion coming from him. Not sure we got that this week, but I'm going to go to Anna first because of your side.
Well, here's the thing. I think on the technical side, he did his steps, but they were like heel leads and bend knees and barely no hip action. Emma looked gorgeous.
Oh, as always.
She had a phenomenal dress. The creative was really pretty with that tree hanging lights. Like, everything was really pretty, but in the rehearsal, I didn't even see him. I was just staring at her. But then in the live show, when I actually was watching him, I was like, oh no. It was like, dude, you were too busy staring at her bum in the rehearsal. That is super cute. Granted, I got it. And you needed to listen to her face, because she's all right here. This is where the information is coming from, not her butt.
He was like in his element.
He loved it.
was loving life.
He was loving life. He was all like cutesy and cuddly with her, and I'm glad he had a good time. But come on, pay attention.
That's why we love you. I couldn't say it anymore. I cannot get away with saying
God.
Cute though. So cute.
Yes.
So sweet. He's so wonderful. Happy birthday. He turned 23. She
happy
gave him
birthday.
a cake.
Bless.
They had a wonderful time in Oregon. Then his friend got stabbed in Sacramento.
Oh God.
Tough.
That was
tough. He had to
terrible.
fly there. That was tough. So he had some stuff going on this week. So again, a little bit distracted.
Yeah.
Pay attention to what you need
Yeah.
to do.
Right.
And let me tell you, he was not happy with those scores. You could see
Okay.
it. Finally, he's starting to, the emotions and how he really feels
Right.
It's coming out.
starting to seep through. The cracks are finally open
Yeah.
and it's coming out because he was not happy with it. He was like, but I think it's mostly he knew he could have done better. And I know Alec can do much better because
Yeah.
he does have the potential. He has the physique. He's a trained body. He's young.
Yeah. We want that breakout week where
Yeah.
you really feel it. Oh, you know, from that level was, I think it was
Right.
Max that said, you know, you're like at this level, or is it Julianne? I can't remember, guys. But you're like right there, and just it's just going to take that little bit to get you here in terms
Yeah.
of, you know, bringing out what he's feeling.
Well, see, for dancing, which is very different than like acting, for those of you who, because you're all actors right there. But what it is, it's like athletics. Your confidence comes from competence. Your repetition is really the key. The more you do it, and the more you do it with intention. So not just do it, okay, let me take step to the right, step to the left, but more step to the right with the hip bump, step to the left with point to toe, like the technique of it. So that's the intention, not just a step. What kind of step it is,
Yeah.
how you do the step. So you gotta repeat it every single time with the same intention. And then at the end, you gotta let it go. And then you can, you know, fill it up with your own emotion and your interpretation, how you
Right.
feel about it. But
That's
you
well
gotta
said.
you gotta
Very
put
well said.
the groundworks of intentional movement.
Yeah, and I think he's put in the groundworks of technical movement, but now we need to see that connection emotionally as well. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the connection emotionally for somebody who's not a professional actor
extremely
is very hard, but it's not going to happen because you can tell him everything about, you know, the character, this what? So for him, he has to start feeling how it feels in his body and the emotion and feeling of the movement that he's creating and
then-
the music that he's dancing to and the energy between his partner then will bring
Out.
natural emotions that he doesn't have to pretend. He doesn't have to make something up. It will happen out. He's not going to have to think about it. And that's the beauty of it. Right now, he's not there yet.
Yeah.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Really, that was
Exactly.
fantastically said. They got a 29, 8 and 3/7.
Yeah.
Guessing you agree with that.
I do agree with that
Yeah.
because the creative was beautiful, the concept was beautiful, but
Yeah.
technique was not quite as strong.
All right, moving on to one of my favorites. I think one of everybody's favorites, Bindi, paired with Val doing a cha-cha. And I think, I don't know if it was Julianne or Carrie-Anne saying that she was like a ray of sunshine.
Yeah.
Which, and by the way, I love the ending when she just grabbed his arm. It's just, that was so Bindi, and her smile. Like, I can't say, like everybody else, I can't say enough good things about her. And I've never met her, just from TV. I feel amazing watching her, listening to her. Just like, it's, you know,
Yes.
she's awesome. You obviously have met her and spent time with her. So.
Yes, absolutely. She's that ray of sunshine all the time.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but this was a comment that Max made that I was like, really?
Oh, what?
He said about, I don't know if your personality is real, or like, he was like, said something literally like that, like, I didn't know from watching on TV whether
right.
this was an act or something. And I was like, how could you think that of Bindi?
No, wait. Okay, I'm not defending Max on this. I'm only saying, I was going to say on the other flip side of that is, you have a lot of people at home watching, and sometimes you wonder,
How could you wonder with
because
her?
there's been, I know, I agree with you. I agree with
I think
you.
that's, I was like,
But
what?
I can see, like, there's been past contestants that put it on when it's camera time, and he knows that from being on the show. You know that from being on the show. I'm sure you've seen personalities like that. Look at Anna,
I just
she's
didn't know
dying
how
right now.
that
It's
was
hilarious.
beneficial.
I get
or
it.
necessary.
I agree with you. I do not disagree with you on this. But
that's
I'm
not a
just
critique.
saying. I'm just saying there might be a few people at home like, I was wondering the same thing. Which, whatever.
Like maybe
our opinions
two
about that,
as well as him.
What do you think, Anna?
Anyway, back to the dance.
Yeah. But
Back to her personality. She's like she's like a girl next door / Cinderella.
yeah.
Like in the way she talks and oh, hi darling, how are you? Oh, it's so lovely to meet you. Oh, you look beautiful today. Oh, I love this routine. It's so wonderful to be here. I mean, she's a freaking Cinderella. Like, that's how she is.
She really is.
That's her
Her
mannerisms.
brother's like that too.
And I talked to her mom about it, and I'm like, she's like Cinderella. And her mom's like, yeah, I know. She was doing these arms since she was a kid. And we would always make fun of her.
my
But she finally kind of grew into it. So that's just Bindi. And
Yeah.
for whoever think that is this put on, she's not a professional actress, and she's 17. And being on Dancing with the Stars, people who actually try to put it on, you could still see it because
see
it's a
right through
reality show, and the camera really exaggerates everything, and you really can't hide. You have to, you cannot be a liar. You have to be completely honest with whatever you do, good or bad, not good and bad, different.
Yeah.
Be completely honest with it. And Bindi is 100% knows who she is, always the same person, whether she's with Val or with Derek. She's always her, whether she's doing the cha-cha or the quick step. That's just Bindi.
I love her.
And she does great. I think she did a wonderful routine. I think Val really pushed her technically.
Yeah.
So the girl was working really hard.
Yeah.
Like, she was working it, and it was not an easy routine. I'm very, very proud of her. But that's Val, right? He always goes for the detail. He always goes for pushing more in the technical things.
She improved.
She really did.
Val's going to improve whoever he gets.
Yes.
Because he is that, drill
He's that
sergeant
school. Yeah,
technician.
he's one of the professionals on the show that actually will go deep into technique and will actually teach a person how to dance versus just give them a routine and do it to music 100 times. He'll actually explain to you how to do it, where it's coming from, what body parts are supposed to be moving or not supposed to be moving.
Right.
He's going to do it. Maybe sometimes it's too much, but
I think that attention to detail was just like, even Derek said, he was like, Val's going to sharpen you up, because they know each other so well. And he was like thankful for that, So I thought that was awesome.
I mean, I had to remind the person I was sitting and watching this with that, like, she'd never worn heels before. This is the first time dancing. And look what she's doing. It's amazing. And she's amazing.
She was really good.
She's just
really good.
a light
I really
in this
enjoyed
world.
that routine.
So they got 3 9s and a 10 from Max. Actually, gave her the 10. Do you guys? Do you think it was 9s?
I mean, I'm fine with that 10.
Yeah.
I'm also, if it would be all 9s, I would be fine with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
37.
It wasn't the most spectacular routine of the night, definitely not, but it was a huge improvement, and it was almost like a milestone for Bindi's improvement.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it didn't drop in any way with a new partner.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to her too.
Yeah.
Because it could just be like, Derek is, good at like choreographing in a way that kind of protects her or whatnot, and then she could have fallen apart with Val.
Right.
But she stayed consistent and then some.
Right.
Yes.
So
Agree. Yeah.
I was really
Well
impressed.
done.
Well done, Bindi.
Moving on to Carlos and Lindsey.
Woo.
Yeah. Wow. High
Finally.
energy. I know, right? Like, go ahead. I'm going to let you go. Go ahead. Go.
Amazing. Hello. Welcome back to the competition. See you in the finals. Like, keep going like this.
Breakout.
It was fast, furious. His frame, he looked like a different person from last week. I was like, holy moly. He got his act together and it was great.
Yeah.
Loved it. High energy.
Quick step.
Straight to the point. Like, great job, Lindsey.
Right on there with you. Yes, totally agree. Anna.
Wonderful routine, really fun concept. And he, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, what it was up his bum. He really picked up his game this week.
Yeah,
Whether
he did.
it was Lindsey, different teaching style, because she seems to be more, because what I've seen her do with Alec as well, because he never danced before. This guy actually did dance. I mean, he's a boy bander. They all dance. But she's able to take these guys and like actually teach them technically too. So she's a worker bee for sure. And just maybe different approach too. I don't know, but or maybe he was like, you know what, I'm tired being where I am. Let me just really go for it and give it my all. And he did. It was so great. Technically, if I have to be super picky, okay, maybe a little bit frame here and there, but for the most part, his upper line looked great. His footwork was really good. He was on the beat with the fast movement. I was very impressed. Very impressed with him.
Yep,
So
me too.
crazy. Me too. I mean, I was like, all the elements came together, like for just a magic moment. Like a different dancer for me than all weeks prior. But but what we wanted from him.
Yes, it was
Right?
like
From
finally.
week one, we're like, oh, he's right there. We know you have it.
I'm so glad we got to see it too, because I was worried that we weren't going to. So like, I'm like, great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They he got a 39. So
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
that was worth.
Really good.
It could have been a 40.
Yeah, I think
It could
so.
have been.
Yeah,
I mean,
to each their own.
right. I'm not saying it needed a 40. I'm just saying it could have been.
It could have been a 40.
Okay, so we're leading now into Alexa with Derek, and that's what I wanted to mention. The package really quick about they showed after
video
the
package.
right, the video
before the
package
dance.
before the dance
For those
of
y'all
last
don't
week,
know.
with Mark being more upset than her about the couple of mishaps that they had, and obviously editing involved, and then her saying outside almost in tears that she wanted Mark to believe in her. But see, that's not how I took it at all. That of course Mark believes in her. It was he kind of knows how the show goes and how scoring goes, and then what can happen.
Yeah.
So I think there was a misunderstanding on her part of why he said that. I'm sure that got
agree.
cleared up. I don't know. You would know more than I do.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to mention it because it was kind of made of a big a deal before
Yeah,
her
I
number.
think actually there was quite a few edits that last night were a little interesting. But yeah, I definitely think that was a main thing, that it's been, these are different situations or like days or whatnot that have literally been edited into 30 however long that package is. And I think it was misconstrued. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? Because
Yeah.
Mark is so encouraging, and I don't think Alexa would ever mean for it to come across that way.
Right.
Do you know what
Right.
I mean? Like, just because she is enjoying being with somebody else doesn't mean that she's not necessarily enjoying being with her original partner. And in regards to, the Mark keeps it real. Mark is going to be real with his partners because, he wants the best for them.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's going to say, if we made a mistake, I'm worried. If he's worried, he's being honest. Do you know what I mean? And I don't think he would have said it in like, we're going to get eliminated or anything like that. Like, pack your bags, let's go. Like, no, just more like,
It's the reality. It could happen.
it could happen because we've seen it happen.
Yeah,
That's
and
all.
it happened to him a few times, so he's very aware that it could happen. I
Right.
think it also some of his own fears may be coming into play when he's a little bit keeping it real, because it literally happened to him. I mean, he loves Sabrina Bryan, and then what's her name?
last season.
Yeah.
But we have to keep going just because I know that they're telling us to wrap up soon. But they do the Pasa Doble, and I will just say,
Tango.
I agree. Was it tango?
It was a tango.
Oh, why did I
Yeah,
have
it was a
Pasa Doble?
tango.
It was
My
an
bad.
international. It was supposed to be an
I wrote that down.
international style.
Oh, it was? Okay, well, I just want to say that I agree with Carrie Ann's comments that it was a revelation.
It was beautiful.
It was production, everything, like totally Derek-esque, and she killed it.
Yeah.
Did she not?
She killed
Oh
it.
my
Yes.
God.
You
was
just saw
fierce.
it. She was locked
Amazing.
in and loaded and ready to go. She had a breakthrough week along with her husband. I don't know. It's like maybe both of them together just were like, let's do this
Yeah.
or whatever.
They
But
started, they went on the juicing program together that week, and it really gave them a lot of energy.
That's amazing.
started
That's so
some new
funny.
books. I don't know what it is, but
Derek brought out the best in her. Not that Mark doesn't, because Mark is amazing, and they're good buds. But that was incredible. Highlight of the night for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I loved
Definitely.
the troop aspect of that. That was great.
Derek loves all that.
He loves the
I
troop.
know.
He loves the drama.
all that. I love all that. That's why I
the
love
drama and the creative and
Yes.
the staging. And
I love that. And that's why I like Mark and Derek. Like, they do a lot of that. Anyway,
Exactly.
perfect 40, first perfect 40 of the season.
Rad.
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
Next up was Andy with Sharna doing Argentine Tango. Is that correct?
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes, she looked
me.
phenomenal. I mean, just based off their look, the way their costumes and the makeup and the hair, they should have gotten a 40.
Agreed.
I agree.
Based on the
Agree.
dancing, I think it was a very clever routine, and Sharna did a very clever thing by locking onto him the whole time and making sure he was there, eye to eye.
Yeah.
Because Andy sometimes can get lost and lose his focus again. But he had no chance. With Sharna, no chance. And
You're here, buddy. You're here.
You're with me. I'm right here. And they did good. And he,
Yeah.
maybe not having a few extra shows this week really helped him to have more rehearsal. And he absolutely biggest improvement this week for Andy.
Yeah, I agree.
Totally agree. Most improved. I just thought it was such a great number. I was like, he was sexy. I was like,
know.
hello, Andy, and where did you come from? I was like, give me some of that. Like, he was so like in it. I was like,
I love it.
yes.
I love
Very
it.
sexy.
Yeah,
Hot.
well done to both of them.
Shana is an amazing choreographer.
I know.
You can just
Yeah.
see, look at all of her partners, look what she does. She had a week
Yeah.
with Andy. And to be honest with you, I never thought I'd see that out of him.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So,
The 36 was their score. Well
Deserved.
totally.
Well deserved.
Moving up on to the final couple, Nick Carter with Whitney, Pasa Doble.
Yes.
Okay, that's the Pasa Doble. I had it wrong there. And I put in my notes that I agreed with you on All Access that he was taking the lead in rehearsals, and he can't take the lead. She's the pro.
Yeah.
She's got to be the one that to do that, and that you were disappointed by his
was.
performance, and I felt the same way watching a couple times, and I completely agree with your comments. So go ahead. I'm going to give it to you. Go.
Well, to me, there was just not enough, barely enough, an actual Pasa Doble styling, and understand that the music is contemporary, it's not Spanish. But we just saw him do Backstreet Back, and he almost kind of took Backstreet Back and put it into this routine and did almost the same routine. Not really, but kind of.
Not really. I love that. That was
he
cute.
didn't. It's like he didn't change his style, because Pasa Doble, it's such a character. It's such a style. It's such a like hips forward, shoulders back, pretend you're Matador, be the Matador. None of that.
None of
And
that.
he was fighting with his partner. Not fighting as of like arguments, but it wasn't a connection. Honestly, I
power
feel like
battle, power
it was
struggle.
a power battle, and I just didn't think that he respected her.
no,
I didn't get
sorry.
that feeling either.
I didn't
It's
either.
like disrespectful.
Especially at the end, really quick. The friend that I was watching with, he was like, "Rewind that. You got to see it at the end when they come and you hug your partner or whatever. You could just see he was not fully. He was just not there like
Yeah.
he's there with Sharna.
Definitely.
He just decided that he did so good, and now he knows what he's doing, and he went on and he sort of decided to experiment a little bit whether he could be a professional Pasa Doble choreographer. do your job. Listen to your pro.
We miss her.
Listen to your pro.
Have
Do
to agree
your
with
job.
that, though.
You're amazing. You're wonderful. You're super talented.
Yeah.
We love you. We want you to see good, but you gotta know what you know.
Gotta
And
stay in your
Totally.
lane.
Yes.
Stay in your lane.
And I love Nick. Nick
Yeah.
and Sharna is one of my top couples.
Absolutely.
And he is strong. It was a little bit. It just was just. These were the problems.
Bit frantic.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit more mental, and that's why it was more
I thought you were
mental
like-
games, not like crazy.
Darvina.
No,
was on
like
another-
no, that was something else.
Your face was like.
I was like, what?
It was a little bit more the power mental struggle, It
Yeah,
was more in his
for
head
sure.
in that way, trying to control too many bits and pieces.
For sure.
Yeah. So you agree with Max's remark about this wasn't his cup of tea.
No,
and he gave
I
an
do.
8.
Yes, he definitely wasn't. I would have. I didn't like it. I didn't like it in the blocking. I didn't like it in the. the morning, the dress, I just was like, this is just not working for me.
For me, it almost like he could have been dancing out there by himself.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
there was no
Absolutely.
connection.
Yeah.
And I think I saw Whitney seemed a bit upset from the package before the number started.
Oh, you
She just
saw
kind of
that?
gave up.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think she just tried to get through it. We're all, at the end of the day, they're pros, but everyone's got a heart, and I think
course, sure. And she wants
and
to
then
do well.
Yeah, this is their job. This is what you guys are doing. It's like, and then to have that prior to going on live, it must have been rough. So
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
Well, they
Tough one.
got a
Yeah.
35. And
Still not bad.
No.
it wasn't a bad score for what that was. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it could have been 8s.
It could have been 8s. Honestly, it could have been all 8s.
Yeah.
if it wasn't
was
for his
surprised.
dance ability and what he done last week,
His
I feel like, and
performance
his
ability.
Yeah.
he wouldn't have got those scores.
Yeah. Okay, so no elimination, obviously, this week. Next week, we have an elimination, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's gonna. Are they
Who
gonna
are you worried
shock us with a
about?
double?
Really quick, we're going to wrap up right
Oh,
now. Who are you worried about going home? Who's a concern?
I think Paula, just because I'm wondering how much more we can get from her.
Yep.
Although I love her. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to be logical now when I'm
Okay.
looking at this list of people and like their progression
Right.
and what I can see moving forward.
Yeah. Anna.
I think Andy. I'm worried for Andy.
I was thinking that too.
I think America loves Paula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do.
There are millions of
I hope
women
they'll
that
keep her
watch
in.
her religiously and vote for her.
I agree. I'm a little worried about both, but I feel more of a surprise coming on the next week.
I
Yes.
feel like there could be like a double elimination or something.
Yeah, something potentially there.
Gonna do something.
Let us know what
Creepy.
you think.
Halloween style.
Coming soon. Halloween coming soon. Well, Anna, thank you for coming to studio.
Oh,
we
you're
miss you
welcome.
so
It's so
much.
Fun.
And so happy it's been so fun to watch you on this.
Thank
Yes,
you.
it has.
Yeah, back at home. Back at home. Well, Darvina, where can everybody find you?
At Diva Darv on Instagram and Twitter.
Anna.
At A Trebunskaya on Twitter and Trebunskaya on Instagram, Facebook, and website Anna Trebunskaya.
Love it. And I'm at Suri Serano on everything: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, which I'm like obsessed with now. All of those things. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you watching every single week. And the crew will be back next week. So see you then.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.